They say you can't judge a book by its cover, but you can judge a Ford Anglia by its window. That's right. The car with the famously backward slanted rear glass wasn't just weird for fun. It was a giant middle finger to the boring grey post-war car industry. It was the budget car that looked like a spaceship, the family runabout that became a movie star, and the everyday workhorse that accidentally became a tuner legend. But the most shocking secret, it was never supposed to be that successful. Ford UK was gambling on us accepting something radical, and they almost killed it before it even launched. Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button like you're slamming the Anglia's wobbly bonnet shut after the MOT man's given you the stink eye. Trust me, you'll want to see all the weird, hilarious and downright jaw-dropping details I've got coming up, because this is Uncovered, the Ford Anglia 105E's shocking secrets. Let's rewind to where it all began, because the Anglia story is wilder than most people realise. 1950s Britain, austerity, ration books, grey was practically the national colour, and car design, about as exciting as boiled cabbage. Ford UK knew they had a problem. Their older Anglia models were functional but boring. Customers wanted something fresh, but Ford accountants wanted something cheap. So they took inspiration from the bold styling trends in America, fins, chrome, jet-age curves. But they couldn't just copy-paste a Thunderbird onto British roads. Enter the 105E in 1959. Ford's designers wanted drama on a budget. The reverse-angled rear window, cheaper to stamp, but looked futuristic. The sharp eyebrow headlamps, borrowed American flair. The whole car was designed to scream, "Look at me!" without breaking the bank. And get this. Management was terrified it would flop. They held internal debates about cancelling the design, worried British buyers wouldn't accept something so flashy. Joke was on them. It sold over 1 million units, proving people actually wanted a bit of flair in their driveway. But looks were only half the story. Wait until you hear about the engine that changed everything, despite its hilariously tiny power output. Let's get under the bonnet. Ford gave the Anglia 105E a new 997cc overhead valve inline-4, 39 brake horsepower. Yes, you heard right, 39. That's about the power of one annoyed horse on a lazy day. But here's the thing. The Anglia weighed just 740 kilograms, around 1,630 pounds. That made it nippy for its day. With a top speed of approximately 73 mph, 118 kilometers per h. The real secret was engineering sophistication. Before the Anglia, Ford's small cars used side valve engines better suited for tractors. The new OHV unit was smoother, easier to service and more efficient. This little motor was so good it became the Kent engine, powering Escorts, Cortinas, Capris, even Lotus-tuned rally monsters. The Anglia wasn't just a car, it was an entire engine dynasty in disguise. And owners loved it. Cheap to run, easy to fix. You could drop the sump with the engine in the car, fix it with basic tools. Funny enough, though, its reliability didn't stop the wipers from slowing down when you accelerated. They were vacuum-powered off the intake manifold. Nothing says confidence like your wipers quitting when you need them most. But hold on, we're just getting to the really weird bits. Because the styling was even more outlandish than you might think, and for reasons that might surprise you. Let's talk styling, the thing everyone remembers. That iconic reverse-angled rear window wasn't just for looks. Ford claimed it kept rain off the glass, so you didn't need a rear wiper, which saved money. It also gave back-seat passengers more headroom. But here's the part no one tells you. The odd angle made the roof stamping cheaper to manufacture. That's right, cost-cutting masquerading as design genius. The car's front end was equally deliberate, with prominent eyebrow headlamps and a smiling chrome grille. It looked like a baby Thunderbird from certain angles, which is exactly what they wanted, American flash on British streets. But this design wasn't purely artistic. Ford's design team had to make sure it could be built cheaply, with existing Dagenham factory tooling. The result was a masterclass in budget design that somehow looked expensive. Even colour choices were bold for the time, two-tone options, bright pastels, no more drab post-war greys. But here's the funniest twist. Customers loved it because it stood out. It forced rival brands to get more adventurous. But it wasn't just showroom appeal. The Anglia found fame in places Ford never expected, from motorsport to the big screen. big. All right, let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say, the flying elephant. The Ford Anglia 105E achieved immortality when it took to the skies in the Harry Potter movies. That turquoise car became the unofficial Hogwarts Express, crashing spectacularly into the Whomping Willow. Suddenly, a humble 1960s family car became one of the most famous cars in the world. Ford couldn't have dreamed of better marketing, even 40 years after the last Anglia rolled off the line. But before Hogwarts made it magical, the Anglia was already making a name for itself. Rally drivers loved its lightweight and balance. It was a cheap, modifiable platform. People tuned the Kent engine, upgraded suspensions, and took them racing. One popular swap? Dropping in a bigger 1.3L Kent engine from the Cortina, pushing power to 65 plus bhp. Suddenly the polite family car could properly boogie. Enthusiasts even turned them into drag races. Nothing quite like seeing Granny's old shopping car doing a 1/4 mile with its front wheels in the air. Even today, Anglias have a cult following. You'll see them at classic shows, with everything from stock restorations to wild turbo swaps. But let's not pretend it was all glamour. The Anglia had some seriously weird design flaws and hilarious owner horror stories. Let's be real. Owning an Anglia wasn't all sunshine and flying lessons. For one, the doors had a nasty habit of flying open on rough roads. Nothing says safety like holding your door shut at 50 miles per hour. And don't get me started on the heater. It was the automotive equivalent of someone gently breathing on your shins while apologizing. Then there were the famously vacuum-powered windshield wipers. When you accelerated, they slowed to a crawl. Perfect for overtaking in the rain. Nothing like squinting through a blurry windscreen at 70 miles per hour while praying you don't hit a cow. And the gearbox? Early models had a notorious crash first gear with no synchromesh. Miss a shift, and it sounded like you were grinding coffee beans for an entire village. But despite all that, people loved their Anglias. They were affordable, easy to fix, and full of character. I once heard an owner say, it's like having a stubborn old uncle who swears at you but always turns up for Christmas. But here's the thing, it's not just nostalgia. The Anglia genuinely changed the car industry forever. Let's talk about that legacy. The Anglia 105E didn't just sell 1 million units and vanish. It left fingerprints all over Ford's future. That overhead valve Kent engine, it became a cornerstone of Ford's small car lineup for decades. Escorts, Cortinas, Capris, some even tuned by Lotus. Ford learned from the Anglia that style sells even on cheap cars. That lesson shaped the legendary Cortina, the Escort and beyond. Without the Anglia's design gamble paying off, Ford UK might have stuck to making dull, safe boxes, letting rivals like BMC or Vauxhall take the lead. And let's not forget its cultural impact. The Anglia defined a generation of British motoring. It was a car for everyone, students, families, tradesmen. Even today, classic car fans keep them alive, some as mint museum pieces, others as bonkers track weapons. It's a testament to how a cheap, weird-looking car earned genuine love and respect. So next time you see one at a show, don't just think Harry Potter. Think, this is the car that made Britain's roads more fun. But even after all of this history and impact, there's one thing about the Anglia that's the most surprising of all. In the end, the Ford Anglia 105E was more than just a funny-shaped car with a silly window. It was a rebellion against boring design. It was proof you could give everyday drivers something exciting without emptying their wallets. It created an engine dynasty. It went rallying. It flew into cinematic history. Sure, the doors might pop open at the worst moment, the wipers might go on strike under load, and the heater might laugh in your face. But ask any owner, and they'll tell you they wouldn't trade it for anything. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the shocking secrets of the Ford Anglia 105E, hit that like button, share your favourite classic car in the comments, and subscribe to AbTech Lab for more weird, wonderful and totally true automotive stories. Because here, we don't just talk cars, we uncover their secrets. I'll see you in the next one.